Well, in July 1967, the passenger train that was going to Aberdeen from London King's Cross was coming up towards Thirsk. And in the distance, the driver saw a big cloud of dust and thought, I don't like the look of that, started slowing down. When he actually saw beyond the dust, there was a train derailed directly in front of him. He gave an emergency brake application and slowed the train down sufficient that when he hit it, they didn't all come off the track. What had happened was a freight train, actually a train full of cement, had actually jumped off the track at that point and the train hit it. The driver was a fellow called John Evans. He was known as Jock Evans. And John Evans, bless him, not only did he actually do a very good emergency brake application, but when he came to from the wreckage of the loco he was in, he went down and did first aid assistance on some of the people who were injured, including he effectively saved the life of one of the stewards who was on board the passenger train. He actually eventually got taken home in the general manager's car, which also failed on the way home. The brakes failed on the way home. And he basically said after that, he said, well, I'm going to get the bus home after 2 accidents in one day. It was just at the time when the railways were accelerating, the trains were accelerating with better locomotives, but also freight trains were getting faster, and they were doing all the development work on the technology of railways. B.R. Derby Research, which was the world's best research institute for railways, was at that stage working out just what the relationship was between the wheel and the rail. And actually the freight train had come off because it had had a severe attack of what they call hunting, where the wheels run from side to side across the rails, and it eventually had jumped off, even though that train had had 5 examinations on its route, which is, they were so concerned about those trains, they routinely examined them 5 times on the route between Kent and Glasgow. Nonetheless, even though they'd shortened the train by taking some wagons out, it had still managed to come off. It was a kind of accident that today would be hard to find happening, because of course they've understood now what the relationship is between the wheel and the rail. One of the outcomes of the APT programme, which was a superbly innovative programme on the railways, it came out in '68. This locomotive is very like DP2, because DP2 looked like a Deltic locomotive but had a different kind of engine inside it. So when you see this engine, imagine this one at speed of about 80 miles an hour coming up the East Coast main line, the driver desperately trying to slow it down to 50 miles an hour. And when it actually hit the train, it tore the buffer off on one side and it flung it 70 yards into the nearest field, so the impact was quite immense. Unfortunately, of course, the train itself was of the old type of carriages with a side corridor, but unfortunately the side corridor was on the wrong side for the first carriage or so, which is where the fatalities happened. After the accident, of course, the line was closed because of stuff all over the place, and they were able to use the outside line, which would be the upslow, to get trains to it and take people away to hospital things. And of course the line, which is now closed and lifted and long gone, that went through Ripon to Harrogate, they were able to use that for diversions for a while, whilst they got the train line straight again.